Hello friends, welcome to Coding Techniques again. Today I'm going to teach you live tracking. Yes, you got it right. We are going to see how you can track one point and to the other point. So basically, when you're jumping from one point to another, just like a delivery application, when a delivery boy is moving to your location slowly and steadily, that is what we are going to achieve. I'm going to show you a demo where exactly you can do the same using Firebase. So in this video, we are going to achieve similar kind of stuff. So let's get started. So as you can see here, our application is already ready. I have created a new application and this is a standalone one. Let me clear you that. Now this is up and running because I have run Ionic serve here. So our application is running as of now. Let's design it up. The first step that we are going to do is to design the map. So yes, we need to integrate the map in order to get started. And I have already shown you how to do that. We are going to use a JavaScript Google map. Let's get started with that. So at first you need to have your Google Maps API key. Well, I'll pass my API key here in the production one and in the development one also. So in both the places, I'm going to pass that and then we can get started with the home page. I'm going to create a component actually, which will be used for mapping. Okay. Now Ionic G component. Within the home page, I'm going to have a map component, which is going to be just generated, and we have a map component here within which I'm going to design our map. Now this map, at first I'll go to the TypeScript one because we are using standalone. So I need to pass standalone to be true here so that I can directly use it into our homepage TypeScript file in this particular manner here. So let me just pass map component. Now let's move ahead, and in my map component HTML, I'm going to pass this particular div here, with the help of which we are going to get our map here. Okay. Then I'm going to design something in my SCSS, which will be this particular stuff. So I'm just passing position to be absolute and I'm giving a height and width of 100% so that it can take the full screen. And then a background color, I've just made it transparent because I don't want the color to show up. Okay, because the map will be taking up the whole stuff. And the opacity I've given 0 because until and unless you show the map, the visibility, because you might be loading something, right? Before something is getting loaded, it won't show up. As soon as the map is visible, opacity is turned to 1. How this is being done, don't worry, you will understand right now. So now let's move to the TypeScript one where actually the whole stuff is going to work. And before doing something here, I need to create a service. So Ionic G service. And I'm going to create a map service. So services folder will be created. Within that, I'm going to have another one. Let me call it Gmap. Okay. This will be a folder. Within that, I'm going to have my services called Gmap. Okay. Now this is created, right? Yes, we have created the service. Within that, let's first have the functionality to load our map. So I've already shown you in a video whose link is already shared in the I button. You can just check that out. Okay. Now, don't worry, I'm going to show you again. So within this particular service, I'm going to have a function called load maps, load Google Maps actually, within which I'm going to load my Google Maps, okay, and will pass this particular script dynamically. Whenever you're loading the map, then only this script will be called. This script is necessary for accessing the maps, okay, and this environment, let me import it from the environment one, not the PROD one. It will be turned on to PROD when you are going for production. Okay. And just that particular stuff I have done, nothing else here, and we are good to go. So if there is a Google map that is getting loaded, so in the resolve one, I'm going to throw that. Otherwise, I'm going to simply reject and I will throw a message that Google Maps SDK is not available. Okay. You will need to make sure that you have your proper key here. Otherwise, this will not work. And this callback is very much important because you were getting some warning earlier. So if you pass this callback, there won't be any operation that will take place. But this comes into very handy in order to remove the warnings. Okay. Now, once that is done, I'll just close it and move to the map component TS file where we actually need to work with all this stuff. So in the constructor, I need to inject few things. First of all, I'll give private, or let me just do it directly. So these two things I need. One is the renderer 2 and the Gmap one. Okay. So these two are imported now. Once that is done, I'm going to use few things here. One is the view child. In order to access the div, okay, that we have defined in our HTML1, this particular div, I've given an identifier here. You can just check this out, okay? And I'm calling that using viewChild because we need to use that in order to just render the map there. We need to do something here, okay? That is why I'm just doing that up. And this element ref will help us to do that. Now, this is giving us an error because there are two ways in order to resolve this particular error. One is to give this not symbol. Okay, this will go away, but it might give you some error in some cases or the other. And the second option, which I prefer nowadays, is to go to tsconfig file and turn this streak from true to false. So it will not check the TypeScript one strictly. But definitely, if you just pass the not one, it will still work for you, okay? Now, I have just passed a Google Maps variable, which I have given a type of any here. And then I'm going to have any location of source and destination, okay? Once that is done, what am I going to do? Well, let me go to the home page. I think I have not passed it there. So in the home page, let me just remove everything first. All right, so this is removed and I'll name it as live tracking. Okay, you can see this is changed. Let me change the color also to be primary. And within our content, I'm going to call our map here in this particular manner. Okay, now the map will be rendered as soon as it is loaded. So we are going to, don't worry, we still have some functionality to work with, but at first let me clear the SCSS of the home page, which we don't need, okay? Now let's get back to our map component TS file, and then I'm going to work with the other stuff, that is loading the map. Now, in order to load the map, let me have the functionality here. So this is the whole functionality that I'm going to have for loading the map. Now, in loading the map, at first the Google Map is initialized because the load map function is called from the Google Map service, okay? Once we have that, well, I just need to pass a map also of type any, this variable. Now it is fine. And then I need to have the direction service and direction display. All right. So these things you need to enable in your Google Maps API in order to work with it, because we are going to use the direction service also. Okay. All right. So now I think I've got rid of most of the errors. Let's go there one by one. So we have the source and within which we have the lat and long. So this is how the map will be prepared. I've already explained in that video. So you can just check that video. Otherwise, this video will be pretty longer. All right, I'll skip few of the things. Now, this is my URL, the icons that I'm going to show, or the images that I'm going to show for the source and destination. So this car and location is already available in my assets folder. Let me just show you. In the assets one, I have the imgs folder. And within the imgs folder, I have the car, okay, then location and pin one. So this three I have. Don't worry, we can change it as per our requirement. I think I should change this location to pin, but that will look nice. Okay. Still, I have the error. Don't worry, I'm going to fix that. Let's check it out. So, okay, source marker, destination marker, I need to define. That's the only error. So let me just define it at the very top. Okay, let's do it here. Fine. This is done. Most of the errors are now gone, and I have given a proper size also to that. So I've scaled that particular icon for source and destination. You can see the sizes here. And then I'm setting a marker, creating a marker for the source one, and this is for the destination one. Once that is done, I'm setting both of them on the map in this particular manner. Then between those two, I'm going to have my direction display, okay, which will be set and which will have a particular stroke, okay. Now what will be the route? And that will be defined through this particular function that I'm going to just work with. Now once this will be done, the map will be positioning at the center position, which will be our source position. That is why the source position is being passed. If you want to change this position, definitely you can do that up. Once everything is done, then I'm using this renderer to add a class that will be the visible one and pass it to the map element, okay? Which means that I'm passing this to this particular one where it is. Here, I'm passing another class called visible, which is which one? This particular one, which is making the opacity 1, okay? Now, once that is done, everything will work. But before that, we need to draw the route. Now, in order to draw the route, let me pass the functionality. This is my functionality here for the route, where I'm going to use the direction service and pass a route where the origin will be the source and we'll have the destination. All the stuff, basic stuff I've already given here. And we can get the duration also if you want. We can get the direction, other data also from the directions one, whatever you get. All right. So you can just check this out. Once everything is done, I think no more errors are there, but still you can see our map is not loaded. Why is that so? Because we have not passed this loading map into our ng on it or anywhere else. Let's do that now. So let me just pass it in ng after viewing it, because after the view is properly initialized, then only I need to set it. So let me just pass it there, ng after view in it, just to be on the safe side. Let me pass it here. Fine. Once that is just done, let's check it out. You can see our map is loaded and we have the proper location set up. But this icon is looking smaller, the pointer one. Don't worry, we still can resize it. This is our destination. Okay, it is set to 30-30. Let me change it to 50 and 50. Okay, now this will look bigger and better. Great, right? And a black roadmap is being drawn, which is coming from this stroke. You can change the color as per your requirement. You can pass a hex code also. And stroke weight I've given 4. Basic things I've done. You can just check the source code here and understand what exactly I have done. And if you want some other icons, you can definitely get it from the URLs also in this particular manner. I've just passed it in the commented manner. All you need is present here. You can just work with it. So this is a basic thing which we have done earlier also, but in a nicer way. Okay. So the basic stuff is ready. Now we need to make it dynamic. In order to make it dynamic, we need to integrate the Firebase here. Let's do that now. I have already integrated the Firebase setup. Let me just show you that. So let's get there. This is my Firebase project in which I'm using Firestore here. Okay, so you need to create a project and you need to set up the Firebase database. That's for free, though you don't need to worry about it. Once that is done, I have created a collection manually. Okay, you can create dynamically also. I'm going to show you that part also. You don't need to worry about anything. So once you do that, your document will be created. But yeah, I won't be showing you the additional part. I'll be showing you the updation part. Okay, so I think you need to create or manually. That's going to be better. Create a collection by clicking this start collection called track. I have just created it and I've created a document also here. Then I have designed the stuff within that. So I have just passed 2 fields. One is the destination, other one is the source one. And I've made the type of mapping, okay, where I'm passing let and long of type number. Here also let and long of type number, and this is mapping. So this is the basic stuff which I have done in my Firebase. And one more important thing which I want to show you is the rules. In the rules, what I have set up, let me just show you. I have set up allow read and write if true. That means without authentication also you can go and check everything without any time limit. Okay, that is very important if you're not having any authentication. If you have some authentication, definitely you can pass it and work with that, which I've already explained in my course. So you can check my courses also if you haven't checked, which are available on Udemy. The links are there in the description and in the pinned comment also. Just check that out if you haven't checked it. Okay, moving back to our project. So this is set up now. Let's get back, and this time, well, we need to work with that. So at first, integrate our Firebase setup. So I'm going to use npm i-g Firebase tools if you haven't installed it. Otherwise, the Firebase commands will not work for you. So I'm just going to hit enter and it's going to install that. Don't worry if you have installed it, still you can do it. It's not going to create any trouble for you. So once that is done, you simply need to run the command Firebase login. Okay. And if you're already logged in, it's going to show up. Otherwise, it will redirect you to the web browser and you can log in. After that, Firebase init is the next command here, which you need to run. And I'm going to just work with the Firestore here, nothing else. Just hit the space command and it's going to select that. I'm just going to hit enter here. And I'm going to select an existing project, which is going to be this live track here. Okay, that's it. It's going to start working with that. All right, let me hit enter because I want the same file only. Again, enter. All right, so the setup is done. The next thing you need to work with is add angular/fire package. That's what we need to install here. But before doing that, you need to remember that you need to install the Angular CLI because we need the ng command, ng add angular/fire. That's going to be our package that I'm going to install right now. And in order to install this Angular CLI, let me just show you Angular CLI installation. Okay. If you already have, don't need to worry. Install the latest version. Remember that. Otherwise, you need to run this command before running the ng command, because ng means the Angular commands. Okay. That's what you need to go for. All right. So I hope you have understood. Now I'm just going to hit enter because I already have the Angular installed, the latest version actually. All right. So I'm going to just hit yes and move ahead. Well, these steps are very simple, but sometimes it gets trickier for some of the people. That is why I'm just showing you step by step so that you don't miss out anything in your work and you get the exact result that I'm getting. Okay. All right. So now in this, ng deploy is already selected. So I'm going to hit the space bar to unselect that, and I'm going to select only the Firestore here and hit enter. That's it. I'm going to select my account, then the project, select it. Any web app you can select here, not a problem. If you don't have one, it will create that. Now you see I'm getting an error here. Why this error is coming up? Because there is no app.module.ts file and this package is not upgraded for standalone one. So we need to set up manually this particular stuff, okay? And I'm going to show you how you need to do that. But you don't need to worry if you already have the ng module 1, because in ng module, it will be done automatically. You don't need to worry about anything. But in our case, let's go for manual working. Let's get on, guys. We have to do it. And you need to understand that how exactly it needs to be done. That is why it's better sometimes to do everything manually also. Okay, so I'm going to go to main.ts file, within which I am going to pass few things in our import, which is going to be, let me pass a comma and I'm going to paste it. Provide Firebase app and provide Firestore. These two things I'm going to use it in this particular manner. You can simply just check and do it on your own. So I'm going to import everything here. While it is not showing me the result, whether I can directly import it, don't worry. I'll just do it manually, that part also. Sometimes the suggestion don't come up. So let me just paste it. This is the stuff which I have imported. Okay. Now the only problem is coming for the Firebase one. So we need to go to environment file in order to do work with that. Now in the environment file, after Google Maps API key, I'm going to pass for Firebase also and close it. Okay. Same thing. I'm going to go for the production one and do it there too in this manner. All right. Once that is done, we are good to go. There will not be any more errors here and our Firebase setup is ready. Once that is done, we can move on to the next step, which is the working with live tracking one. So let's get started with that part now. In working with that part, well, what exactly I need to do here, check it out. I need to make everything dynamic into my component one. All right. That is a very interesting thing to do. And in order to do that, I need to remove this particular location and I need to get it from the Firebase one. And in order to do that, let me create another service, because working in the service with this particular stuff is much better instead of working directly here. Okay. So Ionic G service, within our services folder, I'm going to name a track folder here, within which the track service will be created. Okay. Let's check it out. We have the services here. This is a track one, within which I'm going to pass some functionality. Let's check it out. What is it? So here, let me paste it. And I'm going to show you what exactly I have done. At first, I have injected the Firestore here, which will be imported from @angular/fire/firestore. Then this document, which will be imported from same package. Okay, you can just check it out. This is very important to get the document, and this will give you the path. Okay, you need to have the path. This will be our path, which is going to be track, which I have already shown you here, the collection name. Then the document name, because we are only going to work with a single document. That is why I pass it in this particular manner here, okay? Because we are going to work with only one single document, nowhere else. We are going to update this document every time. That is why I've done in this particular manner. Otherwise, if you want to add some other ones, definitely you can do that. I'm just going to show you how exactly you need to work. That's it, okay? So whenever we are updating this stuff, definitely there needs to be change in our main application. That is what our agenda is to achieve, okay? Let's get back and import everything. So I'm going to import our XJS, then this, I'm going to import it. Let's first import and then I'm going to explain you few stuff, okay? All right, the error is gone. Now what have I done? In order to get the location, I'm going to use a variable called data ref, that is a reference, which will hold our this particular function, within which I'm going to pass the document. Okay, you can directly pass it here also. It won't create any problem. But since I'm using in two places, so it's better to have a different function for that. Okay. Then what have I done? I have turned this particular stuff, this on snapshot, into an observable here. So I'm going to return an observable so that I can subscribe there wherever I'm using it. And then within that, this on snapshot is very much important for live tracking, okay, real-time tracking. Let me just show you. So if I just search for Firebase real-time tracking or real-time database, let's check that also. I think it will show up. Let me filter here real-time. All right. So in the Cloud Firestore, you can go to read data and you will get real-time updates. In the get real-time updates, you can check this out. This are the queries which you have to use in the latest Firebase version. All right, so that is what I have passed on snapshot, where you just need to pass the document and you will get a callback here. Okay, that's what I have done. So in this particular one, I've done the same and I'm making it an observable. That's the only thing I'm doing because we need to use it somewhere else. That's why. So this is how we are going to get our location, and then this is how we are going to update our location, where I have the document. And then I'm going to simply use the update doc function where we can simply pass the data that we need to update. So I'm just going to update the source here, not the destination. If you want to update both, definitely you can do that up. But here in our case, we just need to work with the source so that the source moves slowly, steadily towards the destination, not slowly, steadily, because we will be jumping from one location to another. And that's going to be a smooth transition. That is what we are going to achieve. Okay. All right. So once that is done, our queries are ready for Firebase. I'm just going to close it. This one also close. And it's time to move to the map.component.ts file. Okay. In which, let me just remove this particular stuff and make it an empty one. All right. Because I don't want any location to be there by default. Okay. Now in the ng on init, we are going to work with fetching the locations. And for that, I need to inject the track one also. So track service, and I'm going to import it. Okay. So this is imported and we can directly use it in our ng on init. Now I'm going to use a subscription also. So track subscription in this manner so that we can unsubscribe it when this component is destroyed. Okay. That's what we are going to do. And for destroying it, I need to use on destroy also. All right. Once that is done, let me pass it at the very bottom on on destroy, where I'll check if this dot track sub exists. Then simply this dot track sub dot unsubscribe it. All right. Once that is done, let's work with the ng on init now. So in the ng on init, this dot track sub will be equals to this particular value here. All right. Don't worry. Let me just comment this up. Let me first explain you this particular part. So in the subscription one, we will check for the next what is happening. So now I hope you know about the latest one where we can use next, error and complete, these three things within the subscription one. Okay. Because our earlier one was deprecated. So definitely still you can use that, but I will prefer this particular one to use it. Okay. Now within that, this is the callback in which I am taking the value of the source one and directly passing it, because every time we want to update the source location, that is why. And then I'm just checking if the destination location already exists. That means that we are into the updation one. If it exists, okay. If it does not exist, then I'm going to set the destination also to the dest one and then load the map. That is what I'm doing. And you can see the map is loaded here pretty nicely and we have a proper route showing up. That's looking awesome actually. Let me know in the comment section how you're liking it as so far, okay? Now, after doing that, in the else condition, we are going to update our marker and route, because every time the location is getting changed, we need to update it, right? And in order to work with that, let me create something by which you can update the marker pretty easily. It's using the same application only. You don't need to go anywhere else to do that up. And in order to do that, we need to create another component and work with that. So let's do that first, and then we are going to come here to change our marker position. Okay, let's get started with that. Or should I show you the functionality? Let's do that. So let's create another component here where we can directly work with that. Or instead of creating a component, let me create a model directly into our home page, because our home page is still empty. We can definitely create a model here and work with it directly. So the model will be this particular one. Don't need to worry about the errors. I'm going to fix that. So I'm going to use this iron model. Where is open, I'm using it here. And CSS class, well, we're not applying any classes, so I'll just remove it. Then breakpoint, definitely you can pass a breakpoints. All right. An initial breakpoint is very much necessary. You can pass 0.4 here. That's what I have passed. You can change it as per your requirement. All right. And when the model is dismissed, I'm going to set open model to false again. All right. That is what I'm doing here. And then within the content, well, we have a form here in which I've created a list where the header is update source location. Then we have an iron item group in which we have at first iron item where I'm passing an input for latitude, and the second one is for the longitude one. Once that is done, well, let me just show you this particular stuff. Okay. So this is how I have done it. I've just passed the type as number in both the cases and label placement to floating, and label I've just given whatever was required. After that, I've created two buttons actually. One is for submitting it, other one is for just the loader when the submitting is going on. Okay. All right. So after doing all these things, we are just closing the form and we are good to go. Now we need to work with the reactive forms and get rid of the errors. But before that, let me just go to the SCSS because I need to have some styling also. And in the styling part, I'm going to apply this particular CSS where to the iron list, I'm making the background to be transparent so that it can take the light color. Okay, because on the iron content, I have passed color to be light. Okay, once that is done, in the iron list header, I'm just resizing the iron label to be 1 rem. And finally, we are setting our iron item group to be a border radius, but that was not needed. I think so I can remove it. That's not needed. All right. And let's get rid of these errors, for which I need to go to the TypeScript and work with that one by one. Now here, I need two more modules. One is the common module, because if you're using ng4, ng, definitely you need that. And the other one, if for many more things, reactive forms is for the form group one. We need that. So once these two are done, we are good to go. Few more errors are there, which we are going to just rectify right now. Let's work with that in our TypeScript only. So I'm going to have few properties here. That's going to be form of type form group. Okay. Is submitted to false, and model, open model to be false. All right, these three things. In the constructor, I'm going to inject track service because we need to call the update location function. And few more functions needs to be passed. Let me just paste it, then I'm going to explain you. Okay. So here, I first have open location model, which is in order to open the model, I'm going to have a button here. So I'm going to use iron button slot and I'm going to pass a button. I've given any icon of location. Okay, when you click on this, the model will show up. That's what I'm going to do. And in the TypeScript one, well, we need to import this particular stuff. It is imported. Then again, for the validators also, it is also imported. You can just check this out. All right, so once that is done, our errors are gone and we have the proper thing. Now, let me just show you the on submit also what exactly happened. This is for the form data. You need to call that whenever I'm opening the model, because this will set up the latitude and longitude to the initial value, which is very much necessary, and you need to make it required field, otherwise without that it's going to take the submission, okay, which we don't want. Then in the on submit, I'm checking if the form is valid, then only I'm going to go ahead, otherwise I'm going to simply return. If the form is valid, then I'm going to set is submitted to be true. Then what will happen? It will do what? It will open up this particular button instead of the other one. That means the spinner one, which is going to look nice. And after that is done, I'm going to get the latitude and longitude from the form and pass it on to the update source location function in our track service. Once that is done, I'm going to set is submitted to be false again, and model will be closed. That is what I'm doing. All right. So this is the whole stuff which we need to do in our on submit one. Let's check it out. If I click here, what is happening? You can see this is our model that is working smoothly. And if you pass latitude and longitude, it's going to update there. So let's check it out. It's going to be very interesting. But if you submit this, the change of location will not show up directly into our map because we have not executed it functionally. Let's work with that first. So I'm going to go back to the map, the component type script here. And in this particular one, let me just scroll towards the bottom, and I'm going to pass a function here called change marker position, in which I'm going to get the data from where? From the ng on init. Okay, and in the ng after view init, I'm just going to comment this because we don't need to use it as I'm passing the load map directly here. Okay, now I'm just going to uncomment this, and I'm just going to pass the source. Even if you want the destination, you can work with it. That is why I've just made it dynamic here. Okay, now it will take the new position and will set this position into the source marker. Okay, that's what I've done. If you want to change it for destination marker, you need to change this particular one also. After that, you can go for map pen to. Let me just open this up and comment this particular route one, because the route one, I'm not changing it right here. Okay, I'll just show you. If you just call this function, this route will again change. Okay, but if you just want to work with the mapping one, that means if you just want to move this car icon, okay, it will be moved using this particular function here. You don't need to change the line if you want that. If you want to change the line, you need to call this function here. So we are going to look at both the things one by one. So now, as this is already running, let me just close it. And there is no error, I think. Is it? This is just a warning that is being given. So we can just skip that. We don't need to worry about it. And let's move ahead. So what I need to do here is, if I click here, okay, and I place latitude and longitude, let me place some latitude and longitude nearby location, which is, what is this? Looker. So I'm just going to go to the maps one, okay, map.google.com, and search for a location nearby. What is this? Looker. Okay, Lucarna Tower. That's nearby location. So I've just clicked on that, and this is my latitude and longitude. Let me just copy it and paste it here into the latitude one. All right. For the longitude, let me just copy this stuff. If I copy it, I'm going to paste it again. All right. Once that is done, we are ready to go, and I'm going to close all the things which are not needed here. I'm just going to focus on the tracking one. So you can just look at the location. This will change. This was 952 for the longitude, and now we have, okay, we have the same 952. The same stuff only which I have passed here. I think I need to change the location. So what I need to do here is, let me just click on it. It's very nearby. So I need to just look for another location which is little far away from here, which can be, let me just zoom it, and then we can track it down. So, okay, Anil Nursery. Fine. There, let's go there. So you can just track your nearby location. I'm sure your locations must be very different. Anil Nursery. And here you can see the location has changed. So let me just copy and place it here. What about the longitude? Okay, before doing that, let me just minimize the map so that you can just check it, whether there is any change or not. Otherwise, he will say, okay, fine, there is no change. Let's do it. Let me paste it again. And I'm going to copy the longitude also and pass it here. All right, so this is ready. I just need to hit the button, but let me just check everything at first. I think everything is good to go. Let's hit the button and check it out, whether this moves a little bit or not. So I can just zoom it, but can't zoom it right now. Don't worry, let's check it out. Let's hit the button. You can see it was moved, right? It came here. So this is working, and it was smooth also, quite quick. You can just give a set timeout for that if you want to, but I am okay with this, okay? Because it is moving quickly, and which is quite fine for me. Now, if you want to draw the map, if you're drawing the map again, I don't think this panning one will work properly. Means it won't be very smooth transition, so I don't want that. Now let's try it again. Okay, this time I'll just zoom it a little bit, and let's look for some nearby location here. So as you can see, when I zoomed it more, okay, I need to search for some other location. What can it be? Shani Mandir. Okay, this is a location which I can pass. So let's check it out. Shani Mandir. I think this is the one, most probably. This will work. Nice, beautiful location. Alright, so let me just copy the lat and long, which is different, obviously. Let's copy it. And you can check it here also, it might have changed. You can see it is changed, right? So it is changing, our updation is working, and here also the things are getting changed. Let me just minimize it so that you can see the change. It will come directly from here to here, okay? And the route will also change. So I'm just going to show you everything. Just look at it, or I should reload it. It will come to this normal location automatically. All right, so we are set. Let's try it out. I'm just going to click here, pass the latitude, and let's copy the longitude now. So this is my longitude here. All right, let me copy it and I'm going to paste it. Once that is done, it's time to hit and check it out. So I'll just hit it here. You can see again it is rerouting. Okay, so this is how you can do. And don't worry, it's not going to change every time, because if you're setting this position here of the marker, you're just drawing the route every time. Okay, that is why it is happening. And if you're on the same path, then there won't be any much trouble until and unless you are just looking at the map very closely, because the location is being changed every time, right? So if you want it more smoother, definitely you can work with this route one, draw route one, where you can pass few more stuff, or you can just skip that and move to just pan one. Completely up to you how you want it, but most of you, I think you want to work with the draw route one, so definitely you can work with this particular stuff in order to live track. And you can see the live tracking is working. Every time there is a change, it is getting detected and you are able to work with it. Alright, with this we have come to the end of this particular video. I'm sure you like this video. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Do subscribe to the channel, guys. There is a subscribe button. Click on that, subscribe, and get all the notification for the latest videos. If you're new here, definitely you should do that up. And if you haven't shared with your friends, make sure you do that. Let them also learn something new. With this, I'll wrap up this video here. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.